Good evening, good evening, good evening. How you doing? This is Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes, PTP, people to people, power to power, positive to people. Let me tell you something, I'm always excited, especially when I have guests in the house. I have the famous chef, Gerald McCoy, in the house, and we are so excited to have you here today. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to be talking about good food, we're going to be talking about a lot of good things that's going on, and just, you know, enlighten you about just like yourself. Remember, what we do is we talk about change. We talk about trying to be so much better than we are. We want to change the way we're going about things. And our target is Black Lives Matter. Okay, we know all lives matter, but right now we're focusing on Black America. And so that means when we start talking about things like that, we talk about black businesses. And so let me take this opportunity again to introduce my friend. I appreciate you, my brother.
Yes, sir.
Good to have you here.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
So I just want to get relaxing. I love talking about food. Food is a good thing.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes we just got to know, you know, how to cook it.
Yes, sir.
And that's what you do. You're a chef.
Yes, sir.
So you have your own business.
Yes, sir.
What's the name of your business?
Nasimo Food Project.
Say that one more time.
The Nasimo Food Project.
Nasimo.
Yes, sir.
I like that.
Yes, sir.
Where that name come from?
My two daughters, Naomi and Simone.
Oh, my man.
Yes,
See, that's what you do when you be creative. Nasimo.
Yes, sir.
I like that.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
A lot of people say nah, and some people just for whatever reason they have a hard time pronouncing it, but it's actually Nasimo.
Nasimo.
Yes, sir.
So, and you have a restaurant?
Well, without walls, I have the opportunity to work out of a community kitchen.
Okay.
You know, whereby it gives me a little bit more flexibility to be able to spread out and be creative and do some things that I wouldn't be able to do without having that space, so to speak. You know, so and then there's other entrepreneurs who work out of that same space that do different things. You know, they focus on different types of creativity, food-wise, and every one of those entrepreneurs are foodies, so to speak. You know, so they all have different things that they focus on. You know, so and I just so happen to focus on pies. You know, so.
So is that your specialty, doing pies?
Well, I like to use this metaphor about this bag, so to speak. You know, I try to use this analogy of me having this big metaphorical bag on my back with all this stuff inside of it, you know, and all these years of experience which is in this bag. So I take the bag off and I sit the bag down, I open it up and I look inside. It's like, just grab something. So the something that I grabbed just so happened to be pies. And coincidentally, 4 years ago, I actually did pies for my family. I had in mind to do a seafood pie for my family for Thanksgiving, and it turned out to be a pretty nice hit. So I've been working on perfecting the sauce and the crust, and make sure the crust is, you know. So we spend time just making sure we focus on the quality. You know, there's some other pies that we're doing as well. We refer to it as a family, you know, a family of pies, you know. And I refer to one of the pies, the seafood pie which is the first one because of Thanksgiving. It just so happened when COVID came, you know, I just said, look, G, you need to do something. And that's what happened. It's okay.
Well, I consider myself to be a pretty good cook.
Okay.
But I can't call myself a chef, but I'm not scared to get in the kitchen with nobody. and when I say that, because you know, I'll watch you and steal an idea from you in a minute.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I'll be one of those individuals be sitting in your kitchen and peeping at what you're doing. And when you put a little bit, I just throw a little bit more.
Okay.
Or if you put a little more, then I twist it with something similar to what you put in there, and then put my twist on it.
Right.
And then, you know, and I'm like, okay, what you think about this?
Right.
But never do I ever be put in a position that I'm not man enough to ask for advice
Right.
when that's your profession.
Right. Right. Yes, sir.
So, you know, I enjoy, I have a cousin that's a chef, Harold Massey.
Mhm.
I have another cousin that's a chef as well,
Mhm.
Willie Price. Both of them are fantastic cooks. And we are affiliated with quite a few different chefs, and we just enjoy the personality of a chef.
Right. Right.
You know, everybody got their little tweak that they put
Right.
on things.
Right.
So you never can say one is better than the other.
Sure.
It's always, what's your flavor that day?
Right.
You know,
Right.
sometimes you want vanilla ice cream, sometimes you want chocolate.
There you go.
You know, and everybody don't make their vanilla ice cream the same way, but everybody's vanilla ice cream is good.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it can vary. But I'm just excited, one, that now what we're doing is focusing on black businesses.
Mhm.
And we're trying to empower each other. So what I do on this talk show, I invite everybody. Chefs, if you selling puppies, if you selling ink pens, you writing books,
Yes, sir.
you know, and you're trying to do something positive in your community,
Yes, sir.
I welcome
That's what's up.
you. You know, and on top of that, you know I have a lot of friends who are in the business, and I could easily say, well, I want to get people who are celebrities to come on.
Mhm.
Well, I don't really like to invite people who are at this level in the business because they are not dealing with the problems that we're dealing with right here.
Sure. Sure.
If they got $1 million problems, I got $1,000 problems.
Mhm.
There's a big difference between $1,000 and $1 million.
Okay.
So I like to deal with the people who are able to relate to every day,
Mhm.
you know, and we can talk about things that everybody else can pick up on.
Right.
So, are you the only chef in your family?
As far as I know, but no, it's really interesting because I grew up with a brother and a sister, and my mom, my mom was we grew up in a single parent home, and didn't have a lot of family because my mom was a single, she didn't have any siblings, so a lot of her cousins and things like that, we really didn't know them until we got a little older. However, my father, who didn't raise me, and in fact he didn't inspire me to become or do anything, he called me one day, and this was probably 2000, 2001, somewhere around, maybe 2002, somewhere around about, and I was on my way to a job interview, and he asked me, he said, what do you do for a living? I told him I was on my way to an interview, and he says, I told him I was a chef, and he was like, get the F out of here. And he threw the phone on the floor. He couldn't believe it. He had the same pathway. That's what he did. I saw my father growing up maybe like 2 or 3 times. But to think that I inherited that gene, and his family member, his cousins, and he was really, really close to, and people that he grew up around, spent a lot of time around. When he died, I started learning about a lot of those family members, and for them to see me take on this craft and have this love for it, it's almost like for some of them, it's almost like they're watching, a younger version of my dad.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I'm even still amazed behind that. The fact that I chose the same pathway.
Well, that's why also what I suggest with many people is to know your ancestors. So, if you don't know who you are, you won't understand certain things about yourself. A lot of people wanted to know why I was into entertainment. Well, my grandmother, for one, and my father, who I really didn't know much about. Even though I grew up with my dad in the house, I met my dad when I was about 7 years old, around 6 or 7, something like that. And he was in the military, and very talented man, but I didn't know him. Lived in the same house with him, but didn't know him.
Right.
But I said all that to say that it's good to know who you are, know where you came from,
That's right.
and then you'll start understanding why certain things that you do.
That's right.
Like my father was an alcoholic. I only can have 3 drinks. 3 shots, I'm done. Then I guess I'm either in the corner with my head down, or I get silly, or I start,
Right.
and so I already know that that's probably something that's in the bloodline, so I don't tamper with it, and so, but I'm very talented. I can do a lot of things, and a lot of things I just naturally can do, and so I then think back on my dad, and I think on the people on my mother's side, and I'm like, man, this is probably where I get this from.
Right.
Even though I never went to school for some of these things, but I can naturally do them. But so what I want to do is I see here it says, first of all, let me pronounce that again, Nasima.
Nay. Right.
Nasima.
Well, if this will help you remember, the Nay stands for Naomi, the Simone stands for Simone.
Okay.
So I put those 2 names together.
Nay Simone.
Nay Simone.
Okay.
Yes,
I got it now. Nay Simone.
Yes, sir.
All right. And it says, never assume someone isn't a masterful overcomer.
Right.
Can you explain that?
Wow. In 2019, when I formed the company, I had been through quite a bit. Quite a bit. Quite a bit. And it was needed. It was necessary. And I really believe with everything in me. No, I don't believe in divine. I believe everything happens for a reason. But I believe that particular thing happened, and it was supposed to happen because when I put that, I actually prayed about it, and I said that I needed to know that whatever it was that I was going to do, it would be the platform by which I would be able to serve others until my time has expired on this earth. Okay, so I came up with Nasimo. I walked away from it, and I came back and looked at it. It was almost like it was sitting there waiting for me to come back. And it was like it was staring at me, and then I looked at it, and it was like it grabbed me, and it was an acronym. And I was like, wow, this is unbelievable. And I was like, this is crazy. So that's what I came from. Never assume someone isn't a masterful overcomer. So that's part of the brand, and that's part of my story, because I struggled with gambling. I had a serious gambling addiction. That thing went on for 25 years, uninterrupted. Literally. So that's all I focused on, And so when I literally discovered my worth, my purpose. Once I was able to see, that all those years that I was chasing money and going in, gambling, everything I was looking for was sitting inside of me. Just like the Israelites. All these years, the Israelites walking around the walls of Jericho and a promised land right there in front of them. But everything I was looking for was like sitting right there in front of me. So I was able to feel relief, comfort, and joy I never felt before. It transcends money. To be able to have the mind, to be able to think clearly, to be able to see beyond all that was a hindrance. So that's pretty much what that saved me. My craft was what saved me.
One of the things that with all the guests that come on, I try to keep it as real as possible. And I ask some personal. I don't go overboard because I'm a realist, and so this is Real Talk Live, and so I don't practice nothing. I ain't had no conversation with you, so you don't even know what I'm gonna ask you.
Right.
But what I like to do is to make sure that our audience know that we are just like they are.
That's right.
We go through the same thing they go through.
That's right.
Some people suffer from depression. I've suffered from it before. We had the conversation. You said you dealt with it.
That's it.
So each one of us are in different areas where we are struggling. But at the same time, we overcome. Right? There you go. And so never assume someone isn't a masterful overcomer. I love that. Let me see. It says, okay, Danielle, how do your purpose have an impact on the next generation?
Wow. I believe, just challenges, stuff is inevitable. I mean, it's going to happen. There are so many different things, I mean, that we can literally point to that tells us that this is you. And it don't make sense sometimes until we have to live a little while. Like the old folks used to say, keep living. But if you keep living and you keep persevering and keep putting your best foot forward, and you start getting to see things that sometimes you can't share with others because they think you're crazy. Like for example, how is it that your life is relative or comparable to a piece of steel? And I say steel because steel has to be forged before, a sword, for example.
Yes.
A beautiful, pretty, nice, shiny sword, it has to be forged. It has to go through fire.
Yeah.
And we have to be tested as individuals. And a lot of times we don't know what those tests are. In fact, most of the time we don't know what those tests are. However, it's not always what we're dealing with. It's how we deal with what.
So basically, in some instance, what happens is you dealing with your situation and coming to some conclusion of satisfaction, then impacts those that are behind you.
Sure.
And they can see you overcome and go there. Now, this is one thing. So do you have anybody that you're mentoring to help them prepare to become a chef?
Well, well, there's always people or individuals who ask or who may call me or who may bounce something off of me from a culinary perspective. It could be someone young, it could be someone old, it could even be a home cook, But I try to stay flexible and I try to stay open because you never know. I think it's a little, broad question. Many people ask, "What is your specialty?" But it's hard for me to really say what my specialty is because every so often it changes. So for those individuals who want to learn, I share with them. It's not always culinary.
Right.
How did you do this? Well, it might be. My perspective is maybe a little bit different than it was at one time when I did it this way, and now I'm doing it this way. So what made you change? Well, why is it better now than it was before? Because now it's a focus. My craft is like my piano, my metaphorical piano.
Right.
It's my study.
Yes.
When I go to the kitchen, I feel safe.
Right.
I can actually function. I can think clearly. Doesn't matter what's going on in my life. When my grandmother died or my dad died, and even going through all the things I went going through, losing 2 cars in a matter of 6 years, or just stuff like that. Losing my license, and I'm transparent. And I put this out there only because there are other people or individuals who are dealing with different things.
Yes.
And then they hear your story and they be like, "Wow,
Well, things is not as bad as I thought."
Exactly.
Even that's one of the things that I like about Real Talk Live. We deal with everyday situations. She says, hello, I'm sorry I didn't catch the name of your guest. Welcome, this is Real Talk Live, people to people, power to power, positive people, and my guest today is the chef, Chef Gerald McCoy.
That's right.
And
Nasim.
So I'm still trying not to mispronounce it because when the name, I'm looking at the name, look pretty. So when I'm looking at it, but Nasimone is the name of his company, and you actually from here?
Yes, sir. Born and raised in the D.C. area.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Born and raised in D.C. When I was a teenager, we moved to Prince George's neighboring Prince George's County, and lived there up until I was 19. No, up until I was in my 20s. Moved to Alexandria.
Okay.
Started my career when I was 19.
Okay.
So it's been quite a journey.
What the other thing that so sometimes people watch my energy, and so I just was thinking today. I was out and I was in that storm that took place today. So that was a pretty bad storm. And in that process of coming home, calling the wife, making sure she was okay, I'm thinking about my journey home. I start to, again, talk to God. I'm a God. I don't say I'm a God-fearing man because I'm not afraid of God. I love God.
That's right.
I'm a God-loving man.
That's right. That's
yeah,
right.
I stopped saying I'm a God-fearing man. I'm not afraid of God.
That's right.
I love Him.
That's right.
And so we having a conversation coming home, and one of the things that he kept telling me is to continue to help empower your people.
It's important.
You know, and now remember when I said your people. My people are not just people of color. I'm a man who believes that all humans we are all related. So when God tells me, He tells me my people are those who are positive thinkers.
That's right.
Okay?
That's right.
Now, I am a black man, and I talk from a black man's perspective. So if it was a white man sitting right there, he's going to talk from a white man's perspective. And so, and I won't be in a position where I'm going to judge him for being white, because, you know, he have different things that he deal with. But at the same time, when I address things, I address it from what I see and what I experience. And so God tells me, He says, continue to make sure that you invite people onto your broadcast that's going to help those that watch know that we all are connected, and we all have things that we have to deal with one another. It says, what's that? Diversification is a great way to improve in self-growth. We all can learn from each other.
That's right.
That's correct. And let me see. Talk about that delicious chicken pot pie.
Well,
So,
I don't know. I just recently had the mind to refer to the pies as a family, because I wanted them to all. I wanted to include some, you know, others. Now, once again, the first pie is the seafood pot pie. Okay, so that's the big brother.
okay.
Then there's the chicken pot pie. That's the younger brother.
Okay.
Okay. Then there's a jerk chicken pot pie. That's the youngest brother. Then we have a vegetarian pot pie. Then we have a lamb pot pie.
Uh-oh.
So it's a family.
Yeah.
It's a family. They're all brothers and sisters. Well, brothers. I call them brothers. They're all
Okay.
brothers. You know, so most brothers in a family, there's always one that's going to challenge one or the other.
Yeah. And so that they challenge each other with flavor.
Right. So I was saying that the jerk challenges the seafood, and the seafood is like, you better sit down.
How about that?
Because this is my throne.
Right.
However, and I say that because obviously the seafood, like I said, the seafood was the one that kind of launched everything. But then the chicken actually, you know, started taking on his own thing, you know, doing his own thing, and created or set his own trend. You know, and I don't like to compete with anything or anyone else. I like to, you know, just do whatever I do, you know, and make sure that if anyone tastes my food, they enjoy it.
That's
They
the one.
enjoy it, and if they don't enjoy it, I'm happy that they share it. If they're willing to share it with me, they tell me. This actually helps me improve upon, improve upon it. You know, so that's it. I mean, but the chicken pot pie has become quite a hit. You know, in recent. So we've actually moved quite a few chicken pot pies and the seafood pot pies. You know, I'm still working on a little bit on the jerk. You know, jerks. I mean, I moved a few jerks, but I'm still working on it a little bit. You know, more. You know, it's kind of like that, like two pits. You know, the jerk and the seafood. You know, no matter what you do to them, they go still try to each other.
Yeah. Wait, say, how did you make those pies where they eat well initially, but even better when you reheat it? That's pure talent and passion. Thank you, Gerald, for your gift.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Really appreciate that, Phil. I mean, once again, I mean, when I'm in the kitchen, I remember, and I'm gonna try not to get too long-winded to get off the point. However, we all heard, a lot of us heard over the years, they would say, don't take the arts out of schools. I never fully understood that. Now I have not a full understanding, but I have a better understanding as to why that was always said. And now I'm understanding why my craft plays an important part in my discovery, of different flavors and different tastes. And even, it helps me once again in my in different points in times. It don't always have to be negative, but I, like an artist, if an artist is sitting at the piano and he's playing, and he may be dealing with something, or she may be dealing with something, and they create a melody just by tapping keys. Yeah. That's the same with me in the kitchen. When I'm in the kitchen, it don't even have to be anyone else there, just me. And I mean, it's almost like metaphorically speaking, a cordless phone. If it's off the hook too long, it needs to get to the base.
Right.
If it doesn't, it's going to die.
Yes.
Well, if I'm out of the kitchen for too long a period of time, and I'm not cooking,
then you kind of you get a little rusty.
I get a little not rusty, but I feel like I need a recharge.
Right. Okay.
And the way I recharge is I go to the store, grab something, and I just whatever it is, and
you start making it work.
Make it work.
Let's take a moment to, first of all, before we even do that, I want to say happy birthday to Uncle Skeet. Uncle Skeet, happy birthday. Joseph West, LJ, hey, much love to you. The celebrity Danny Glover. Hey, Danny, call me when you get a chance. We got to talk about some things. Kendra, I think your last name Frazier. Your mother said happy birthday, and I'm doing the shout out from Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes, here with my guest, the chef, Gerald McCoy. So we send greetings to y'all out there, and we want to welcome some of the watchers and listeners.
All right. Welcome, Lauren Williams, Monet Bradley, Dane Riley, Vicki Gray, hey sis, Jean McBride, Wayne Waller, Barbara Allen, Paccio Moraro, Angela Conti, Marcus Elliott Jr., Andra Kelly, Bomani Arma, James Hayes, Bonnie Ross, Grandma Joyce King, Victoria Roy Howard, Vanessa Goodwin, Deborah Valentine, Daniel Duncan, Monte Grimes, hey son, Regina Young, Rush Lucas, Philip Wimstead, Dean Sellers, Vera Larry.
We welcome all of you. We ask that you continue to join in and show support. We thank you so much and ask that you hit share. Remember, you can go to YouTube and also subscribe. I also would like the guests to know, and you are my guests who support us on the other side, that we will be also starting to air on INN Black Lives TV. Okay, that's going to be taking place real soon. I told you, and I said this several times, that you're going to see things start to grow, and so God is just blessing me. I had a meeting with the VP the other day. He came and told me that he heard about the show and showed a lot of interest, and they sent me a contract last night, which I'm overlooking, and I'm excited. What's going to happen is we're going to be expanding. It's a new streaming that's going to be in this area, and that I'm going to be introducing to Chef. I'll tell you about it, and many other individuals, because we have some ideas on how we're going to make this platform take off. It's something for us as a black business and black businesses, for us to show support to one another and help us to be able to get out there. So I'm really excited about that. Again, it's international. It's going to be, it's an international, let me see how I can say this. International's new network, okay? That's what it is. International New Network, Black Live TV. And so I'm excited. Y'all just hanging there with me. because we get ready to make this thing happen. God is so good. I give him nothing but praise. And then for all of you that's out there that's helping by showing support and sharing and just, you know, even people like yourself, Chef, you know, when you do things and you take the time out to come out to share your life and your talents with us, we say thank you. You know, because what we have to do is continue to make sure that what we do is make sure that you're successful.
Yes, sir.
See, when we look at each other, I tell this story and I'll continue to tell it over and over. You have a ladder, you know, and if you got a big wall, and we're gonna say the wall is life, right? And you get this ladder. Sometimes it takes 3 or 4 people to take the ladder even to put it up there, right? So you get the ladder on the wall, and then whoever got the most courage or who's in the best position goes up the ladder first. And they climb up and they look over the wall, but they need somebody down there to hold it. You know, we got to make sure it's stable, and that's support, right? And so when a person get up there, what they do is they look on the other side and they look back down there. So I'm gonna put you up on the ladder and I'm holding. And Gerald, you sitting over there, you saying, look, Rodney, man, there's so much going on the other side, and I'm going over here because I want to cook, you know. And you holler back down to me and say, well, Rodney, what you want to do? And I say, I want to have a talk show. I want to be one of the world's best promoters and producers, right? And you'll say, okay, well, let me get over here, hold the ladder. And then you'll go over and you'll yell back, come on. And then whoever's next, hold the ladder and I come on up. And what happens is, when I come on the other side, you done already start to pave the way. And this is our success. This is how America is built. And a lot of people do it, but we, the black people, got to learn how to do it. We got to get to a point where we don't mind holding the ladder. And what we do is we give that information of our life trials and tribulations. We take them and we share them so that the next person don't have to struggle as hard. And then we move forward. And what we do is we realize, guess what? Black lives matter. How about that? I love that. I'm just trying to get a little poetic in here a little bit. Let me see. How does it feel to work for yourself and what's that? Creating your own brand.
Wow. It's really like a breath of fresh air, to be honest.
How about that?
I mean, it really is. I mean, it's really, really like a breath. I mean, that coupled with having the mind to walk away from all the calamity and all all the noise and all the stuff.
The drama.
All the drama, all that negativity. You know, and to this day, I mean, you know, I believe very strongly in positivity. And I don't think it's one of those things you just kind of grab and you enjoy it a little bit and then you get rid of it and you just throw the rest in the trash. I believe it's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. You know, having a positive mindset is a lifestyle. And, you know, I don't care who you are, what you're doing, you're going to have people that don't like you for whatever reason. They ain't feeling you or whatever. And then, you know what?
It is what it is.
It is what it is. It's called life. But you know what? I was told a long time ago, if you don't have anybody, if no one's talking about you, then you need to check yourself.
How about that?
Especially if you're looking to accomplish something.
How about that?
You know, and you give somebody something to talk about. Thank you, sir. You know, you give somebody something to talk about, and you know, I want to give somebody something. You know, I want to give somebody an opportunity to talk about something positive about me. You know, so you know, it is what it is. You know, you can't go through this life without being unscathed. I mean, it is what it is.
Well, where we at right now, and this is something that I hope that everybody. Okay, so we talking to a chef. You know, we got a lot of young people out there that are interested in food. They want to learn about food. They want to know how to treat the food and what's good for them and what's not good for them. So we take these opportunities when we have a professional like you to give us some insight on some things. And so what we'd like people to know is this: anything that you can conceive, you can achieve. You know, it's almost like sometimes I can go in there and I'll be working on something, and I'll be fixing one of my favorite dishes. I can really cook a good salmon. Okay, I make a salmon. I'll make you want to make me be your best friend. and so every now and then I try a little twist of something in there. But that's just me now trying to improve myself, right? And so I said that to say this. That's what we want you to do when you're changing your life every day. We want any individual to come on the show that you take from them and know that these people, individuals, have had their trials and tribulations they had to deal with and their struggles, and they still have them.
Right.
You know, but at the same time, what we do is we keep moving forward, stay faithful to our desires, and just keep trying to pull each other up, you know, to empower each other. Hey, everybody that just joined in, it's Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes, PTP, people to people, power to power, power to the people. Remember, people to people, that's me, you, and them. Power to power, the power they possess, the power we possess, the power we want to get together. And what happens when we start to doing things together, we become positive thinking people, and that's what we love. My guest today is the fantastic chef, Gerald McCoy. And don't even tell me how to say that name again, because I'm gonna get it out there. Nesimone. Nesimone.
That's it. You got it.
I said it, didn't I? Nesimone.
That's you got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Nesimone. So, you do catering?
Yes, sir.
One-on-one? So what do the one-on-one, what is that?
One-on-one, I mean, could be, you know, classes, you know, and there actually have been individuals who actually have called me and asked me, can you show me how to do this? Can you show me how to do that? Can you walk me through this? Can you talk me through that? You know, so, you know, we extend our reach to individuals who just want to learn, you know, and they want to improve upon their, you know, their culinary wherewithal. It could even be someone who's actually, you know, who's already in the industry and they want to, you know, brush up on their skills a little bit, you know. You know, I like to use the analogy that if you're left-handed, tie your right hand behind your back, tie your left hand behind your back, and learn how to use your right hand.
Yeah.
You know, because I want to stretch. You know.
Don't pay them. See, she was over there talking about her left hand. And so I told you it's real talk. This is real talk. We don't practice nothing. We got the producer over here. Over here, she's left-handed, and when he said tie that left hand behind, she was like, She was over here. So Gerald was assuming that she was telling her, don't talk about no. So it says, hey, y'all gotta excuse me because we read from a monitor. And so, as you see, the letters, they're kind of fuzzy. It all depends on even on the angle. This says, yes, this is true based on the individual that built up America, the documentary. Okay. It says, what inspired you to get into the hospitality industrial as a chef?
Wow. When I was a teenager, running the streets and doing the things that I was doing, it was an individual. Because, you know, we would hang out all hours of the night and, you know, fun and carousing and doing the things we were doing. So after we would, you know, end our evening, before we would end our evening, I should say, we would go to a 24-hour grocery store. So this one particular individual, I would always be the one to cook. I was 17, 18 years old, and I enjoyed it. I mean, I've always loved to cook. You know, I stayed in the kitchen a lot and learned from my mom, and you know, and I didn't really understand or know how much of a passion I really had for food. When I got out of high school, I didn't know what I was going to do the rest of my life. You know, all I wanted to do was fun, hang out, and fun. You know, and so this one particular individual said, "You need to go to culinary school." And I'll never forget the conversation. He said, "You need to go to culinary school." The furthest thing from my thinking. However, no sooner than he said that, the very next day I was literally sitting in front of a television and I saw this advertisement and this flames flying up in the air and the guy was shaking the pans and I was fascinated.
It's calling your name.
Yes. It was like, you know, Gerald, come on man, what's up? And sure enough, I ended up launching my career with a really, really nice restaurant at the time. It was a critically acclaimed restaurant. And I was stretched in ways I never thought I would be stretched. You know, I worked with two brothers. The two of the brothers had just came from working at Martha's Vineyard, so you know their ego was like way up here. You know, and but they made themselves accessible. And I made myself accessible. And I made sure that they knew that I was a student. I wanted to be a student. You heard the saying before, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Well, the teacher's always there. It's all a matter of you willing to avail yourself to the information.
Exactly.
So I used to stay late, and I would end up working many times, 16 hours, 15, 16, 17 hours a day, and
you put that work in.
Put the work in, and I learned. I always focused, and I just learned. And then I had a dream to work with under the leadership of a French chef. I ended up working under the leadership of a French chef, several French chefs for about 3 years or so. I was stretched even more. So the moment I hit a kitchen, my mind was stretched. You stretch a rubber band, don't go back to the same size. My mind started being stretched. Working under the leadership of a French chef, and then learn from Asians and Africans and different types of different parts of Asia, I should say, Chinese, Thai, and Japanese, and I just made it my business to be a student, and that's it.
I'm looking at. I keep looking down at this menu, and I mean, you have quite a few things on here. I'm like, man, this is skills. So I want to put this number out there: 202-664-6327. 202-664-6327. That is your telephone number to be able to get if they want to hire you or they want to call for information.
So they go to our website.
And also the website is www.Simone. Did I say it? Simone. Food project.com. So it's www.nasimonefoodproject.com. So I'm just gonna spell it all out. www.NASIMOFOODPROJECT.com. Okay, so that's www.nasimonefoodproject.com. Okay, again, I want everybody to know that we are interested in changing the way we go about things. We want to change our old habits and get new ones. Create new habits that's going to help us live better. Also, I cannot not take this time to also encourage you to remember that you have to register to vote. It's so very important that you do that. You want to make sure that you're going to have your voices heard. We want to make difference in our homes. Excuse me. We want to make difference in our community. We want to make a difference in this country. Right now, what's going on, Black America was devastated over this situation that took place with this one gentleman who was murdered, and we saw it, and the whole world took that opportunity to look at it. It's just funny that at that time, then we was having this pandemic with this COVID-19, right? And we found ourselves where we had to deal with some things and come to face with reality on things that was going on that we needed to change. And then we also got to think about our health because of COVID-19, that we're now being, it looks like it's targeting us, But this was, when I say by design, this is because we had habits that we weren't paying attention to. Now, this is our time to make changes with our life. And so, when I bring on the guests, again, I bring on guests who are going to be real. They're going to talk about the issues that they have, the good and the bad, happy and the sad. We're going to keep it real. We're going to keep it moving. We're going to have people know that you're not alone in your struggles, no matter what they are. And so if this is somebody out there that you want to be a chef, Chef Gerald said that, for a minute you didn't even know you was going to be a chef. But
it's been 33 years almost now.
33 years.
Yeah.
And now you do it with your eyes closed.
Yeah, some things, I'm still like a green tomato. I never want to be right. I want to always be learning. I want to always be learning.
I love that. I like that.
You know, and I never want to get to a place, you know, in my life or in my career where I feel like I hung the moon. You know, if someone has some information or some knowledge whereby it can, you know, help me, you know, move forward. You know, I mean, I'm almost 54 years old, and I'm more excited today than I was when I got started. You know, because it's hard. I feel like I have hope. You know, I have hope. You know, and when you have hope, it's like having a rope to hold on to. All you gotta do is pull yourself up. You know, and once you pull yourself up, you know, you inspire others to pull themselves up. You know, if they so choose. You know, so just like ketchup, I can't give everybody doesn't like ketchup, but I pass the bottle around, and for those who like ketchup, they say, I want some ketchup, I have a little bit of ketchup, and then somebody might say, well, I don't eat ketchup, I don't eat that, I don't want that, but, you know, it's okay. But for those who want to learn, or for those who want to, you know, take the opportunity and see, you know,
A different flavor.
yes,
It's okay.
it's okay.
It says, why so many think this season is not real? I'm not quite sure, Katrina.
Why so many think this season is not real? What does that mean?
I'm not quite sure what she meant by that. If you can be a little more direct, and we'll try to answer that. And then up under that it says, what healthy tips have you discovered that can be healthy tips for a better economy development?
Healthy tips. Wow, I think about it all the time because, you know, with me, you know, I've struggled with, you know, as I was sharing with you earlier, obesity. And, you know, it created a complex because when I stopped smoking cigarettes in 2013, it was a game changer. And wow, I mean, after I was smoking cigarettes well over 30 years, and when I stopped, I gained weight, and you know, so I'm constantly thinking about, for myself personally, the things that, you know, I can do to improve upon my own personal health.
Right.
You know, and you know, I do all kinds of nice salads. You know, I'm not a big fan of pasta salad. You know, I don't knock it, but that's not what I'm not a big fan of pasta salad because it's a culprit for weight gain. So I focus on the salads that are healthy, that are vegan friendly. I don't worry about vegetarians. I focus on vegans because if I take care of my vegans, my vegetarians will be fine. You know, but I can't do the same thing with the vegetarians and expect the same results because, you know, I think in my mind vegans trump vegetarians. So when I create vegan-friendly meals, I want to make sure that the vegans are good. And vegetarians say, okay, I can eat that. I can enjoy that. I can enjoy that.
So she said the pandemic. I believe that what she's saying is that why do people don't think that it's real? We know that it's real. It's something going on. We just don't have all the answers. So let me say this. I have a lot of people who question, you know, that I even when I have guests come in, right? Well, I believe that, first of all, I put my trust in God. I don't do nothing stupid. You know, I go into my job every now and then. Okay, I go to the grocery store. See, I'm not going to stop living. I'm not going to stop living, but I'm just conscious. Now, so I'm going to jump off of something. I got to go somewhere with this real quick, and it's just in my spirit. Now, every time somebody cough, or their nose run, or they wipe their nose, or they clear their throat, everybody looking. Right? But people been doing that years and years and years. Okay? Where we are right now, I don't believe that there's not a pandemic. I don't believe there is not one. I believe there is, but I also believe more so in the power of God.
Hey, man, you have to.
See, I believe that everything happens for a reason. And when she said, use the word the season, you know what? We are in a season of growth. We're in a season of becoming aware of who we are.
That's right.
You see, I think that sometimes even man think that they're controlling things, but we saw a prime example of that today when the storm started to come in. I'm gonna tell you something. I saw men, which is man, running because now God is showing His power.
That's right.
Okay, I saw trees going different ways, cars slowing down. I saw signs starting to fly that man didn't have no control over, and he couldn't stop that.
That's right.
But what I do know is that it's not so much of where we are with the pandemic. It's what you do with it. It's what you do with it that makes the difference.
And you know, and it's funny that you say that because, you know, we talk about positivity. And once again, when, you know, it's like, I'm trying to think of something that, you know, that you may like, that you really like and you enjoy. But if you take that one thing out of it, it may not be the same.
Right.
But that's just like positivity. You know, it's not one of those things that you find and every so often you find it on sale. I believe in wrapping my whole existence in being around that mindset.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. It's a mindset.
Thank you.
And when you buy into the mindset that, like when I wake up in the morning, I literally look directly into the mirror, eyeball to eyeball, and I say, Gerald, your best days are yet before you. Okay? You have not seen what God has done, what God is getting ready to do in your life. You know, you have not seen what the individuals that you'll have the opportunity to touch. You know, so that's just like, you know, some of the things I've had to deal with as it relates to my health. You know, I don't focus on that.
Right.
Because I choose not to.
Because if you did, you'll find yourself depressed.
Depressed and sitting there with, you know, sitting there standing at the wall and
wanting to do drugs and drink, commit suicide. Let me share something. You know, that's one of the reasons why even at this time I take God. I just thank God. I be praising Him and I have a conversation with Him. I be like, yo, God, what you want me to do? You want me to sit back and be quiet, or you want me to handle my business? I'm telling you what He told me. And then, you know, to some people, if you want to sit back and don't do nothing, that's on you. That's your prerogative. But for me, He says, you get out there, and I want you to take this opportunity. I want you to help empower people. I want you to keep following your dream. I want you to get up. I'm 60 years old. You think I'm just going to sit in the house and let them put in my head that I'm supposed to wait for them to tell me when to go to the bathroom and come home, or when I'm going to cut my grass and when I'm not going to?
That's right.
I'm not going to live like that. I don't believe God put me on this earth. Now, I'm not going to be stupid and go out here, and I don't invite everybody into my house because I have to take care of my family. Okay? But at the same time, I'm not going to stop living.
And, you know, and also, you know, we have to be very, very cognizant about who we let into our space. And when I say our space, I'm talking about just even like a phone call.
Right.
Somebody calling me and dumping on me. I'm not a trash can with a hairy lid that you can just dump into me whatever you want.
Right.
You know, because, you know, I have to use I have to sift through the negative. I don't really watch the news. Every once in a while, every blue moon, I'll turn the news on, and then I'll say to myself, "Yo, come on, man, why are you watching that nonsense, man? You already know it's this and this and this and this and that." I was just sharing with somebody the other day that if you really, really look at the true significance of who we really are, of who I really am, okay? I use this analogy of somebody's house burning down. I'm talking about to smithereens. But if one person would take the time to find that one thing, that one little tiny thing that can give them hope. That's the optimum word, hope.
Yes.
Where you can see the silver lining in that situation.
Yeah.
You know, there was a calamity.
Yeah.
You know, when I gained all the weight that I gained, and it changed changed everything. Sent me into a deep depression. I didn't want to go nowhere. I didn't want to do anything. But you know what? Guess how I fed that? With more negativity. I kept feeding and eating and eating and eating and eating and eating. Then I would sit around and watch the news, and you know, it was getting worse. Then I'm like, whoop, 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 you know. So it's like, okay, Gerald, you know how to think. you know how to believe, you know how to dream.
There you go.
And you know what your expectations are
Right.
for yourself.
Yes.
Okay? Beyond anything else.
Yes.
You know, and just like the word can't, you know,
Don't tell me.
Don't tell me what you can't do.
Right. I believe that anything that you can conceive, you can achieve. It says, what are some of the suggestions we can do to help make cooking less stressful?
Less stressful.
Enjoy it.
So, in other words, I guess more or less you're asking, Danielle, what can you do to make cooking more enjoyable? Well, maybe do it more often. I don't know how often you cook, but maybe, you know, let's just say, for example, you don't do it once a week. Maybe let's say you do it on Sunday and you maybe do it on Saturday. Well, challenge yourself. Challenge yourself.
I'm seeing it too. It's Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes. I didn't mean to cut you off. I want you to keep your thought where you at. So, we have a monitor right here, right? And Gerald is talking to Danielle. He's talking to Danielle because he's reading the monitor. So Danielle is over there. And I'm watching him. See, a lot of people don't know. They don't see the whole setup right here. So, no, go ahead and finish. So, just to make
what I would suggest, Danielle, would be to challenge yourself. So, you know, go take maybe $50, $60, $70 or $100 and go to the store. And just don't, and if it means you need to go on YouTube and find a recipe, find something that you want to do.
Right.
That you haven't done before.
Right.
And something you may have thought about and you may have said, no, I would like to learn how to cook that. I would like to do this, or I would like to challenge whatever that may be. And then go to YouTube. Find a video. That's that thing that you find that you may feel is enticing for you. Mm-hmm. And then grab a few coins and go to the grocery store. Write yourself a list. Go to the grocery store and just challenge yourself. If you want to learn how to cut an onion a little bit faster than the way you do it, some people, most home cooks or a lot of home cooks, it take maybe some of them take an hour or a half an hour to cut an onion. You know, so go to YouTube. Grab one of those videos and then say, you know what, I want to cut an onion. Because YouTube now it's a plethora, oh my God, it's a plethora of information there where you can go and you can say, well, I want to learn this, I want to learn that, I want to, zero in on this or whatever the case may be. And then I just suggest you challenge yourself, with your skills, your know-how, and like I said, just go to the grocery store and buy some stuff.
And I'm not a chef, but I just want to add to that. Don't be afraid to be creative.
That's right.
Because, see, what happened is a lot of times you go in there and cook because you have to cook for somebody who's in the house or whatever. And you be like, I don't feel like it. But if you, like you said, if you just take a few dollars and look at one of the cookbooks or something that you think that you're afraid to try.
That's right.
And try it.
That's right.
You'll be amazed that how well it'll come out.
That's right.
And then what you do is you'll actually be able to create your own recipe. You may create something that'll blow everybody out the water. So my point to add to that would be, don't be afraid to try new things. Don't be afraid to enjoy life. See, we got to eat to survive.
And there's no expiration. There is no expiration date on self-discovery.
Come on now.
Because whenever you have something inside of you that you want to do or you want to try, just like Rodney said, I would say go for it.
Go for it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
And because, for real, you'll probably trip your own self out. In fact, once you do it, you be so elated and so excited, you get to call in your friends and your close, loved ones, and you be like, look what I just did. Oh my God, blah, 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 blah. And, just challenge yourself, And even myself, having been in the industry for as long as I have, I still would find ways to challenge myself. I just discovered probably about 6-7 years ago that I don't need to look at no recipe for this one particular thing. So I make my own biscuits. I make my own marinara sauce. You know, even at home. You know, I even asked my wife, you know, please stop buying the stuff in the box. And sometimes that falls on deaf, not sometimes, most times it falls on deaf ears because that's just force of habit. But, you know, I always encouraging people, even in the kitchen, outside the kitchen.
I like to grill. And so I created my own sauce. And so my wife always say, baby, make your sauce.
What you put in it?
I ain't gonna tell you. He tried to get that. He tried to slip that in on me. So no, but to be honest with you, I don't have a problem with sharing with that. You know, when I created my own sauce, what I did one day, I was thinking in my mind what kind of taste I wanted in my meat, right? So what I did is I took barbecue sauce, ketchup, mustard, and I took King syrup, right, and put it in there, and then I take a cup or two of vinegar and drop in it and stir it up. Oh my goodness! And somehow or another, they just come in and give you this little tingle on my tongue, and that's what I do, and so I do it every time, and so I don't have no problem because I'm not a chef. So now if you talk about my photography, I might keep some of my tricks under my sleeve because I don't want you to know everything, but that's his job. Okay, let me see. It says, I have a divine natural remedy that will get weight off. I also have Tiva tea. Tava tea.
Well, you know what? I appreciate that, Katrina. My sister, she's been, oh my gosh, she's been beating me over the head for a while. I've gotten, believe me when I tell you, I've gotten...
Chef. You talking back to
okay, yeah, right. It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. Katrina, I once again I appreciate that. My sister, who she's been beating me over the head, which I appreciate, you know, about the same thing, you know, and I, because she has some pretty cool products as well, you know, so. I'm working on it. I'm not where I was.
you live it.
But I once again, I mean, I feel better than I've ever felt. You know, apart from some of the things I deal with, I have to, you know, struggle with sometimes. I still feel good, you know, and I really believe my best days are yet before me because there are things that I'm working on. I exercise. I even go out in the backyard and get on my my porch and do push-ups and, you know, and so on and so forth, you know. So I was just in the kitchen yesterday. I was way down in Aberdeen, cleaning out my kitchen with one of my, you know, with my boss, you know, for my job, and he, you know, and I was walking past this glass, you know, because being on the inside, I don't see what other people see, but just every so often. I'll walk past a window or something, and I'll see my image or my image, and it's like I'm sitting there with my mouth open. And sometimes, like every once in a while, I get a little somber because once again, I fall into that self-pity,
right? You
know, and that, you know. But I'm working on bettering myself health-wise, and because you know I miss wearing a size, you know.
Well, you know, if I can just jump in. We got a few questions we need to answer, but I want to say this. We all have different things that we have to deal with. And one of the things that I learned in, you know, my lifetime, so I got to throw this out there. So I remember I ran into a couple of friends of mine, right? And so I've been working on losing weight. So I'm doing it. I still have a stomach. To be honest with you, you know, I'm going to keep it real. I got on the stomach bag. Right? Okay. I got it on because I'm trying to lose weight. When I was younger, I could run 5-10 miles easy. When I was in the United States Marine Corps, I ran every day. Wow. And when I came home, I still ran every day for almost 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Wow. When my wife met me, I didn't have not a stomach at all. Wow. Okay? But what happens is, each one of us go to an area where we start having to deal with things as we change. Now, I remember I saw a girlfriend of mine, and my wife said don't use that. I'm not talking about a girlfriend who I was in a relationship with. So my wife she said a female friend. Did I say that right, babe? She said use that terminology. I had a female friend, and the first thing she did when she walked up, she poked me in my stomach and said, "Hey, Rodney, what happened to you?" And I wanted to say, "Well, excuse me, did you look in the mirror lately? Because I didn't even know who you was." Right? So my point I want to make is that where we are, sometimes, and Katrina got on there, it's an awakening season. So I want to use that, Katrina. That's what happens in our life. Sometimes things start to happen with you that you got to get this awakening. You got to have this point of realizing. See, you realize you had a smoking problem. You were smoking cigarettes. So what you did was smoke. You focused on stop smoking. But you didn't know that actually many people who stop smoking pick up weight rapidly. See, a lot of people don't know that. So they don't have time to focus on the weight. They got to focus on staying away from their cigarettes, which is addictive by design, right? And then when you realize that you got this situation, next thing you know, when you start to realize, oh man, I picked up weight, because let me tell you something. It don't matter how big or small you are. Some people don't have no weight and dealing with that.
That's right.
And they're depressed. And then now you got not just this problem dealing with weight or not having weight, but now you got the depression problem to worry about. And then you got to worry about the people who are being judgmental about you.
Right.
And you walking around with these complexes. But what we got to do is use this time more so as it's an awakening season.
That's right.
I love that, Katrina. I love that. I
right.
like that. I'm going to keep that. Okay, it says, yes, I had to stand still and redirect my plans. And you know what? That's something else that we have to do. You have to change your focus on not doing the same things if you get the same results. You got to put yourself in a position where you are actually changing how you are going about doing things.
Right.
If you wake up every morning and you drinking a cup of coffee and most of the time you got a headache, you better check the coffee and make sure you don't have too much caffeine going into your body.
That's right.
You see, so sometimes you just got to change the way you get that awakening. It says well-being recipes. You got a well-being recipe? Did you go out?
A well-being recipe. Oh my God.
I always try to be a joke. Anything you like. No, I'm just messing. I was that. No. What's a well-being recipe?
A well-being recipe. I actually, believe it or not, before, right now as I'm speaking to you, I'm doing actually I just made a kale salad, a really nice kale salad today. So when I talk about salads and me not liking pasta salad, I like to do things that are, that I can enjoy and I can feel fulfilled and not filled, but fulfilled. And so I do, like I did a corn salad, I did a kale salad, also did a potato salad for those who like potato salad. There's a guilty pleasure. But I think that's one of my strengths. We call them composition salads or composed salads, and I'm gonna start doing something whereby I can actually zero in on that and show people or individuals how they can actually make those salads, and not just how to make them, but how you can benefit from them, and some of the attributes of the salad, how it's how it's beneficial, so to speak.
Okay. Let's see. You must envision your well-being. First of all, I want to tell Danielle and Katrina, I love you so much. I love the dialogue.
Yes.
I appreciate that. You're asking some very, very good questions and making good suggestions as well. This is what this is about. This is not just about the guest himself and myself. This is about us. Real Talk Live. People to people, power to power, power to people. People to people, me, you, and them. So we're interacting, and what happens is we kind of empower each other, and we take this power, that power, we add together, and we just get powerful. And when we do it on a positive note, what happens? We become positive thinking people, and that's what I'm enjoying right now.
That's the great tomato.
There you go. You already know. You said that green tomato.
That's right.
That's right. You don't want it always.
I don't want to be right.
You don't want to be right.
That's right.
You just want to be the green.
That's
and
right.
I like that too.
Always wrong.
Hello, Gerald. What's this?
Hi, Aisha.
Aisha.
Yes.
Aisha here. My son is, what is that?
Presbyterian.
Presbyterian, and I am constantly looking for recipes. Is there a cookbook in the making? Secondary, keep your eye on the prize.
There is actually.
Oh, secondly, it says keep your eye on the prize. Great interview.
Wonderful old friend, someone a very good friend. Yes, there is. And I don't talk about that. I don't talk about that too much because I believe very firmly and strongly in walking the walk and not always talking the talk. There's a saying I heard a long time ago that my actions should always speak. Let my actions speak so loud that what I say I can't hear. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, there's something I'm working on. I'm actually working on that and personal memoir. So I'm working to try to rush that cookbook situation. I think so. For my own personal satisfaction. So we'll know more about that.
Okay, Katrina, she says ginger root, minced garlic, lime, and lemon will take weight off of us. I helped a young lose weight. She was 400 pounds. Now she's 290 today. She's still on her journey. Okay. And Katrina, you know what? I know about those things. Actually, I mentioned some of that because that's some of the stuff that I use also with vinegar to help cut some of the fat. And Danielle, I take others' recipes and add to it. I did that with my new shrimp and mac and cheese. People been doing. Trust me, I watch others incorporate my diverse dine. What's that?
What's that? Diverse dine. My diverse dine.
Yeah.
So basically, what she's saying is she correct me if I'm wrong, Danielle. Basically, what you're saying is you like to take others' recipes and add your own spin on it, and it helps create diversity in your own personal dining experience, if you will. Am I right? Am I correct?
Yeah, so also I'm gonna tell you something. She will answer you on here. And Gerald is getting this thing. He's getting this thing. He's starting to now look at the camera and answer, and then he's looking over at the monitor to get the answer.
Right.
That's how it works.
Right.
But first of all, let me say this with all of us. Remember, we all have some journeys that we just got to try to change our direction a little bit.
That's right.
It doesn't matter what it is. See, one of the things I don't do is I don't point fingers at people. I try not to judge people. I try not to say, oh, he thinks he's that and she thinks she's that. Because you know something, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We got a lot of people walking around, fancy clothes and all this and that, but they are not all happy. You don't know, some of them might be dealing with cancer, some of them dealing with diabetes, but they looking real pretty. You feel me? We don't know. And people don't understand some of our personal struggles. So what I do is I just put myself in a position, I concentrate on what I can do to help me. And if I can help me to be a better me, somebody else will see that, and in that process, then I help them. I always tell people, if you can't love yourself, you can't love nobody else. You gotta start there. You gotta start with yourself. And so that's what I love about this platform that we have, Real Talk. We keep it real, you know. I want to take this opportunity for everybody to just join. This is Real Talk Live with Rodney Brown. People, power, positive people. I would love for y'all to be able to say that as fast as I can. I would love to see you do that. I also want to tell you that soon I will be joining the international new network, Black Lives TV. I am excited. I am so excited about that. This is going to be a platform that we're going to help promote these young gentlemen. We're going to take this thing to a different level. They from what I'm doing a little more investigating on the streaming and how it's coming about, and they're coming out of the mother company is coming out of Georgia, and they've already established some things, and they're going to put us in a position where we're going to be able to do some different programs. So what I'm going to talk to them about one of the things is make sure individuals like you, Chef, be able to take your time, and maybe we're going to be able to get a show that's going to be able to focus on the black chefs in the DMV. We might just remember that name. It might be the black chefs of the DMV coming through PTP. We don't know, but we're going to just see. It says, Deborah, she says, I log my food. I walk at least 5 days a week. I measure my food and drink plenty of water. I lost 7 pounds.
Awesome.
First of all, congratulations. And I encourage you to continue to do so. What works for you, works for you. And that's good that you share it. Not all the time when somebody give you a recipe, does the recipe applies. And so what we have to do is we take a little bit from there. Now, I love the fact she said, I log my food. So one of the things that I'm going to tell you about that, I used to suffer from migraine headaches. This when I was real young. I used to have migraine headaches that would make me want to jump out in front of a car. My mother used to have to hold me and help me to deal with it. When I got in the United States Marine Corps, I had a migraine headache for 2 weeks. They didn't even believe it. Well, come to find out, one of the Japanese doctors that I ran into in Okinawa told me, he said, start writing down everything you eat. Right? So I did. Now, I want you to know that prior to talking to him, what the other doctors was trying to do is put me on some medication. I don't believe in putting a lot of stuff in my body. I can't do it. So when they was telling me, well, we can put you on this to make the migraines go away, I was telling them, look, you must ain't never had a migraine, because these ones I got right here, you don't have nothing that could cure it. The only thing I know gonna cure them is my grandmother. My grandmother's gone, and that recipe that she just showed me how to put the vinegar on the brown paper bag was working for me. And then when I talked to that Japanese doctor, he told me, he said, let me tell you something, 90% of all the problems that go into your body is what you put in. That's what he told me. He said, so start logging what you eat. So, Deborah, you're right. It's good to keep a note of what you're putting in your body. Because if you get sick or you have diarrhea or something happened, you can go back and say, well, this is what I did this day, that day. And then what you got to realize is this. If you don't exercise and you just sit around, believe me, things going to change. And it may not change in the direction you wanted to go. So you also know this, that this right here is good to have. Plenty of water. H2O. Now, what my wife does, she put a mint leaf in it and a lemon, and she put ice, and the ice is spring water. Right. My wife does that because she knows how I am about my water. Okay? But I used to didn't want to drink it. So now when she do this, I can drink glass after glass after glass after glass. So, you know, what you have to do is be creative and start to just look at the different things and then start to understand what works for you. This is a great empowerment talk show. I thank you for that. I thank you. And you know what? Like I said, we target everything. We talk about things, the real talk. We want to be real. We don't want to fabricate stuff. Let me tell you something. If I had Oprah sitting here right now, what me and Oprah going to talk about? How big her house is? That she's one of the most richest black women in America? That she probably can buy anything she wants? I can say, Oprah, how did you get started? She can tell me how she got started. But she can't put me in a position where she's going to change everything about me. Because that's going to have to be about me, right? But when I sit down and I talk to an individual who we are actually having to deal with it, the fact we got to get up every morning and continue to do our struggles and so forth and so on, we can relate to it that better. Right. Now, I'm not saying I don't want to interview Oprah. Oprah, if you see this, come on over, because I want to talk to you. Because you know what? You got some information we want to hear too. But I'm just saying, I just try to keep it real at that level. So I appreciate that. We really love that we keep it real on this show, and we'll continue to do so even as I grow. I promise you, you will notice that I'm going to talk to the people who's going to bring you the truth. We're not going to fabricate anything or anything like that. Rita, she said, NutriBurst is a great product. I have been on, what's that, supposed to be it, for 3 months, and I have lost 20 pounds. So, let me speak about that. have a very, very dear friend of mine who turned me on to the neutral burst. I'm not saying don't use it. What I'm saying is find out if it's black owned. That's what I want you to do. I ain't mad at them, but find out if they're black owned. If you're going to, you know, and the only reason why I say that is because we are focusing on trying to empower ourselves. Now, I didn't say that to be negative, so please don't take that, because guess what? I got some neutral bursts upstairs. Me and my wife use it, and it works. You gotta learn how to deal with it.
My sister's in that.
Yeah, and so believe it or not, my friend who recommended it to us, and we purchased it. Within about a week, I saw my stomach had totally went halfway down. But I also found that I was going to the bathroom a lot, so I had to adjust it. So, with that said, I'm not saying that that's bad, and I'm not saying it's good. I'm telling you, I use it, and I know that it works. But what we definitely want to do is make sure that we empower those who are really trying to empower us. And if that's what worked for you, then so be it. And we will promote them. I just want to know who owned it. That would be one of my, so I can't really press on with that right now, because what I'm pressing on right now is that's Nate Simone. Nate Simone. That's what I'm focused on, which is black cuisine. We have a chef that is really putting his passion into some good food, and that's where we at. And I'm excited about that, and I'm so glad that you came on. We're going to be getting ready to shut down in probably about 4 more minutes. And let me see, can you give me a good recipe for salmon? I only eat salmon, but looking for other ideas.
Salmon. Do you eat shellfish? If you eat shellfish, real simple recipe. You can. Well, actually, you know what? You can actually take some soy sauce. Really, really simple, but I tell you, it's delightful. Very, very good. You can take some soy sauce. Let's just say you take 2 cups. You take about a cup, not a cup and a half of soy sauce, and a cup, maybe a half cup, maybe a third of a cup of honey. And you mix those 2 together, and you can put a little bit of sesame oil in there. Mix it up really well, and then take your salmon and just submerge it in there. Let it sit in there. Let it marinate for a day, no more than 2 days, and then take it out and bake it. Oh my God, it's really good, really good. And eat that with some basmati rice. And if you may have an idea, but if you're not really familiar with or know how to cook rice, which a lot of people don't, it's okay. The ratio is always 2 parts of water and 1 part rice. And it doesn't even matter the size of the container. So let's just say if you took the cap off of I use an example of a spray bottle, like a non-stick spray. That's the only thing that I'm seeing in my mind's eye. If you took the top off of that and you wanted to just cook that for yourself in a small pot, just fill it up 2 times with water, put it in your pot, and let it bring it to a boil. Once it hits 212, which is the boiling point, then you add your rice. Once you add your rice, you stir it a couple times, and because once it's boiling, it has the ability to cook that rice because of the gas and from the bubbles. It has the ability to cook your rice without even having a flame on it. It'll steam the rest of the way. So it's always 2 to 1. Doesn't matter the size of your container. Excuse me. It's always 2 to 1. 2 parts water and 1 part rice. Okay. And their rices, the converted rices are a little bit more simplified to cook. And if it's something that's like a short grain or a sticky rice, you have to, clean the starch out of it. You got to wash the starch out a little bit. But basmati rice, jasmine rice, my personal preference is basmati. You know, you don't have to wash that. You don't have to wash converted rice. You know, you can go in the store, you'll see it written right on the bag, you know, converted, you know. So, once again, 2 parts of water, 1 part rice. You're never going to lie. The rice will be nice and fluffy. It won't have no water in it, and it'll be perfect. So, once you put the rice in the water, turn the flame almost down to nothing. Put a cover on it, let the steam finish cooking it the rest of the way.
How about that? Well, hey, we have enjoyed having you here today, Chef.
Thank you, sir.
It is time for us to come to a close. It's Real Talk Live with Rodney Grimes, people to people, power to power, positive thinking people. What I would like for our guests to do is you're going to have the closing words, something that can empower our guests. Share with them as we go out.
Wow. Once again, I mean, I believe it was, I believe it was Danielle who asked, what did she say? She said something about, okay, we were talking about taking a risk, okay, and I'm a risk taker, you know, and when it comes to food, and if it's something you want to try it, give it a shot, just try it, you know, because once again, you'll probably trip your own self out. You know, something you've never tried before, you know, go to YouTube and just type in whatever that query is, you know, if it means you need to look up, you know, a salmon recipe, or if it's how to braise shrimp, or how to add coconut to and make coconut shrimp, or how to use turmeric, or how to use whatever, how to make curry chicken. You know, there's a few different ways of that people make it. I like myself personally, I like to make it the Caribbean style. But all that, you got so many different tutorials there on YouTube, so you can go there. I use YouTube because YouTube is a huge platform by which you can, use to, seek out information. And you can actually take your laptop, put it in the kitchen, and go to a video that you find that you like, and cut it on, watch it, pause it, write your recipe down, go to the store, and then challenge yourself. And then once it's done, you'll probably have the biggest smile on your face you've had in a long time. So, and you'll share it with your friends, your loved ones. And I say give it a shot. Just go for it. Never stop. Put your best foot forward. Try. Work. Believe. And always, beyond anything, no matter where you are in life, no matter what you're dealing with, always find a reason to smile. And always find something to laugh at. Because laughter, in my opinion, is one of the greatest elixirs that God has created for us to uplift us and to help us move forward. So keep finding reason to laugh. Find something to laugh at. And then sometimes you gotta laugh until your belly, until you feel like you can't stop laughing.
So what we want to do, also it says thank you for the recipe and tips on rice. Also, Rita, let me say this, and NutriBurst do work. So I'm not downplaying them. I just want to empower black-owned businesses. So if we were to find out that they were black-owned, believe me, every time that I get on here, I'm going to give them a shout-out. What I would like for you to do is tell them your telephone number, which is 202-664-6327. And then you have your email.
My email is nasamofoodproject@gmail.com.
Okay. And then your website.
It's www.nasamofoodproject.com.
Okay. And then your Facebook.
My Facebook is Gerald P. McCoy. It's Gerald P. McCoy.
Okay. And anything, any other way that they can get in touch with you that we forgot?
No, that's
pretty much.
That's pretty much.
Okay. Well, hey, remember, we appreciate you. And our co-host Rachel Pope is recovering from a dental surgery. So normally she would have joined in. Rachel, we send you peace and blessings. She's been doing it on the other end, but we know that she would have called in with some powerful questions. I forgot about that. I kept looking for the phone to ring, and I was like, okay, where is Rachel? But Rachel is definitely recovering from a surgery. We send peace and prayers to her. That's another individual. Please go to her Facebook, go to YouTube, and look at some of her amazing work. This woman is just a genius. Hey, that's it. I love you. I send you peace and blessings. This is Rodney Grimes, Real Talk Live with people, power to power, power to state people. Our guest today was the famous, we call him famous because that's what he's a great, great individual, the chef, Gerald McCoy. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate you.